Well, that was certainly a game of basketball, was it not? It started slow, and then, boy, howdy, did it get interesting late as the Blazers clawed back from down by as many as 18 tonight to get within striking distance, had some chances to tie it late, but they just couldn't get over the hump as they fall to the Detroit Pistons 119-112. Welcome into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you tonight. If you want to join in on the conversation with me, 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. And, of course, you can go on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio. You can join the conversation there as well. It's just a still frame today. Don't have the camera set up. It's been a busy, busy day. I woke up in Coos Bay. Still made it here, though. Still made it here as I text one of my buddies who is a season ticket holder. I die for Rip City. That's what I do here. Man of the people. The people's champ. But we're having some fun here. The Blazers, I thought they played an interesting game. They started very, very slow out of the gate. It just felt like they were kind of lethargic. And as Coach Billups talked about post-game, it was like this is more or less kind of felt like a road game in the fact that you go on the road for 7 games, you come back for 1 game, and then you go back on the road. Like this, I mean, is this a home game when you think about that for a second, fans? You went on the road for 7 games, you're gone for 2 weeks, you come back, and then you get a home game that you finish the game, and then you got to head straight to the airport to get on the plane to get to San Francisco. Right? And so that's just like how those road games are. So you might be playing in your home arena, your home locker room, all that stuff that you're used to, but it does 100% feel like a road game in a sense. So in a way, you almost got a 9-game roadie out of this because then you go down to San Francisco tomorrow night, second game of a back-to-back. And it is, again, it's interesting, but then you get the nice little homestand. Things can balance out a little bit, get in a groove. Hopefully the Blazers can win some basketball games. And again, tonight was just weird. I know the Pistons got out early. It was 17-8, and then the Blazers went on a run to tie it back up at 23-all. And overall, the Detroit was just kind of getting what they wanted. I mean, Cade Cunningham was doing his thing. Isaiah Stewart was a force defensively. He had 5 blocked shots in this one. And the Blazers, I think sometimes they were playing good defense, and then they were getting Detroit was getting bailed out by some really good shots. Tim Hardaway hit a couple clutch buckets. Again, Jalen Duren was phenomenal tonight, all things considered. And so, yeah, Portland fought hard. And they had chances late. The shots just weren't falling at the end of the day. They could have used a little more production out of guys like Shaedon Sharpe, offensively, Toumani Camara. But again, it's just like we said, pregame talking about his performance against Oklahoma City. Like Toumani Camara isn't your massive offensive weapon. He's a nice to have, but not need to have. Defensively, he had his hands all over this game. He was doing everything he needed to do. If they had an assist. Like, you know how they keep hockey assists, right? Like, if you're the guy who passes the puck to the guy who eventually gets the assist, like, that's an assist. Like, he had his hand on the loose ball so many times today that it ended up being a turnover. Like, if you would have given him that number, like, he ended the night with 1 steal. But the passes he deflected that eventually got into the Blazers' possession, he probably should have had like 6 or 7. Defensively, he was all over the place. So you're not going to knock him for not having a great offensive game. He was 2 of 6 from the floor for 7 points. Again, that's not his strength. But the Blazers, they clawed back. You got to give them points for that. I thought you go into the fourth quarter, they were down double digits, and they kept crawling. It was 110-113. You had a chance to hit that 3. And then, obviously, Dwight Breath, he has a chance up top. He misses it. It was a great play. Just a little pick and pop out there to the 3. Ant gets it through 2 defenders. He gets the shot. He misses it. They get a stop on the other end, but then, Portland gets another chance. Toumani Camara misses the corner 3. They get the offensive rebound. They end up pushing it back out, get it to Shaedon Sharpe at the corner. Kind of goes a little too fast. Took the shot a little too quickly. I think he could have set himself and had a better look. But he missed that shot, and then Detroit pulled away at the end, get some free throws, do what they need to do. 119-112, the final score. Looking at the Detroit Pistons side of things, Tobias Harris, 20 points. He was 9 of 13 from the floor. There was a couple unfortunate times for the Blazers where just because of the switching on defense. Like, he got manned up with Anthony Simons. And all credit, I thought Anthony Simons did as best as he could defensively, but when you're giving up the height, Tobias Harris was just able to turn and get the shot over him down low in the paint, and it made for easy buckets. Like I said, 9 of 13 from the floor. He also had 9 rebounds and a couple of assists. 5 points from Asur Thompson. He also had 6 rebounds, a couple of steals, 18 points from Jalen Duren. He had 12 rebounds as well. And Jalen Duren, I've always liked him coming out of going into the draft. Good young player. Never realized how thick he is. Like, he is a mountain of muscle, man. Like, I knew he is big, but goodness gracious, in person, he is huge. Tim Hardaway Jr. Does what he normally does, which is kind of sit in the corner, wait for the ball, and hit clutch three-pointers. He was 3 of 8 from the floor, had 13 points in this one. 28 points from Cade Cunningham to go along with 4 rebounds, 5 assists. He did have 8 turnovers in this one, though. Might have had a few more if it wasn't for some very, very questionable officiating late in this game. I thought like that foul on Jeremy Grant as Cade drove to the basket was questionable. You had one that Chauncey Billups challenged on Toumani Camara that was questionable late. Were they fouls? Maybe. Were they ticky-tack? Probably. So we'll, you got to live with that. You got to understand how the whistle is and play to it. Malik Beasley had 10 and Dennis Schroeder had 12 off of the Pistons bench. For the Trailblazers, Jeremy Grant had 25 points. He was 6 of 12 from the floor, 6 of 11 from beyond the arc. 7 points from Toumani Camara and one of the best dunks of the season. It is up there. It is going to rival Shaedon Sharpe for the Trailblazers dunk of the year. It was absolutely phenomenal as Scoot Henderson threw the ball to Donovan Clingan down low in the paint. Donovan Clingan got trapped by a couple defenders, but he found Toumani Camara up top, and the key was wide open. Toumani just drove right down the thing. He was cleared for takeoff, and it was just nothing but power from there. I saw someone on social media asking, like, who's the better dunker, Shaedon Sharpe or Toumani Camara? I'm like, well, Shaedon Sharpe gets the nod in the athleticism dunks. Toumani Camara is the winner when it comes to just pure power. Like, his dunks are powerful, man, and this was one of the best of the season. Donovan Clingan, he had 3 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 block shots. 12 points from Shaedon Sharpe. As we talked about, I would have liked a little more production out of him. 4 of 11 from the floor. He had some good layups late, some good drives, but overall, you need more than 12 points out of Shaedon Sharpe on any night, truthfully, especially if you want to continue to move forward and build off of it. I still think it's there. I think he has the potential to be absolutely great. I just want to see him, get scores that start with a 2 instead of a 1 and do that more consistently. 34 points from Anthony Simons, 4 of 26. See, just like last game, as Brenden was telling us in the pre-show, reminding you of the second quarter in OKC where he scored 13 points, 13 of his 14 on the night, and it was just kind of got on a heater. He did so in the third quarter too. He had a point here where he scored like 9 plus straight for the Trailblazers. It was a 3, then it was another 3, then it was an and 1. Like, he got absolutely on fire. Ended the night with 34 points and hit some clutch shots as the Blazers tried to claw back in to the game. So kudos to him. He ended up having 15 points in that third quarter alone, and then 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists from Scoot Henderson off of the Trailblazers bench. Now, we talked about pregame that rebounding was going to be key, right? The Blazers tend to have better chances to win ball games when they rebound well, and they didn't rebound very well in this one. They were out-rebounded by the Pistons 54-41. They only had 17 assists, the Trailblazers did, 27 personal fouls. Shot the ball a little better. They were 38% from the floor and 30% from deep. But they took 50 three-pointers. They were 15 of 50. That is a lot of three-pointers, over half their shots. They took 94 shots overall. Whew! And 50 of them were from beyond the arc. Hit a couple of those, whole different ball game. But again, you win by the 3, you die by the 3. In this game, it is 100% factual that you don't win if you don't score more points than the other team. That's just how it is, right? That's just how it is. Thought the game was good. Blazers started slow, liked the way they clawed back. Would have liked more from the young guys. It's a quick breakdown of the game, as it were. right? If you want to join the conversation with me, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also go over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, get in on the chat with Jake and Kirk, airing their grievances, as it were. You know, some people ready for the next iteration of the Blazers. I get it. I will say this, though. Regardless of what we think about the roster, coach, GM, whatever, everyone has something to say about something, right? I do think one thing that's kind of fun right now is the fact that, 65 games in now, you're still realistically like, are you a play-in team? Are you this or that? Like, I don't think anyone would have thought that was going to be even a topic of conversation this late in the season. Maybe this is the team does what Houston did. Houston got a good rebound. Maybe Portland can do what the Detroit Pistons team that they played tonight. Right? Last year they were the worst team in the NBA. They were terrible. Build it right. Guys have a good offseason. Get a good coach. Things change. Right? Same with Houston. Ime Udoka was a big difference maker there. So we'll see what happens with these Trailblazers. Tonight, though, they fall to the Pistons 119-112. Once again, you want to get in on the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. And, of course, go over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, join the conversation there. And, as always, you can follow me and my producer, Brenden Slaughter, over on social media at Chris J. Burkhardt and B_Slot, respectively. We're going to take a quick break here on the fifth quarter. When we come back, we're going to hit you with our shot of the night, drive of the night, take some phone calls, talk about this game. Have some fun, of course. This was Bill Walton tribute night. The tie-dye was out. All the employees were wearing some special Bill Walton tie-dye shirts, which was great. The fans showed up. The headbands got distributed. Everyone had got Bill Walton headbands as we're playing out with some, Bill Walton tunes here. There was a Grateful Dead cover band for halftime entertainment, which was absolutely
I did see
wonderful.
that. That was super cool for those at Moda Center.
And they were good, too.
Yeah,
they were good, too. It was pretty awesome. I got a nice little concert, man. I remember one time, Brenden, that might be one of the only the second time I've had an actual mini concert go on for a halftime show. But when we were in New Orleans for the playoffs, right? So that was 2018 or whatever. Juvenile was halftime entertainment. Back that thing up, if you know what I'm talking about. That was quite entertaining. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. This is the fifth quarter presented by Coors Light on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
It's time for the fifth quarter shot of the night on your home of the Portland Trailblazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
Simons near side from Harris, picks up his dribble, gives it to Grant. On the baseline, kicks it out to Reith, wide open three. Yes! Dwop Reith picked a good time to make his first three of the game. It's 111-108. 2:15 to play fourth quarter.
It's time for the fifth quarter drive of the night on your home of the Portland Trailblazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
Scoots off to the races. He drives, throws it to Klingon underneath. He's trapped on the baseline. Up top for Kamara. He attacks and hammers it down. Puts Isaiah Stewart on a poster. Timeout Detroit.
Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. You know what's amazing about the year 2025 is that you can produce a radio show via text message. Well done, Brenden. Well done.
Always got to be on my toes, brother.
No, seriously, though, it's like, okay, so for those of you who don't know, like, I'm here at Moda Center. Brenden is back at the studio right now. So it's like there's no visual cues. So he played the spot there, and he did just fine, but for some reason the highlight audio wasn't playing in my ear. So I had no idea when we're back live and it's back time for me to talk, and like, so the music's just playing, and he's like, all right, they both played, you're good. Oh, all right, just quick text, because I can't even ask him a question because it goes out over the air. Like, but well done, Brenden. I mean, producing via text message, I feel like that's a skill. Good job.
Hey, if we could do radio shows from you on the road and everything else we've done, brother, this is cake.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, if you want to join the conversation with us, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. And, of course, you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, where Han in King City says, Denny is a huge part of this team, and, when he's not playing, they lose quite a bit on both sides of the ball. And absolutely, Han, that's such a good point, because Denny has been kind of to use a term, like he's the straw that stirs the drink. Right? He's been an engine for this team, especially when it comes to pushing tempo and getting teams out of their comfort zone. And I think this team is absolutely completely different when he's on the floor versus when he's not. So when he's not on the floor like he wasn't tonight, you take a little bit of a hit. Maybe he could be the difference in the game. So I agree with you there. Absolutely. All right, one more time, that telephone number, 503-248-0620, where we head out now to a friend of the show, Victor in Turkey. Victor, welcome into the fifth quarter. What do you got tonight?
Thank you, Chris, for your time. I might have a valid argument, as you said. Most of these close games that we have, like tonight, we could say that we would have won these games. And the reason you mentioned Avia, and two other ones, Dayton, and Rob 3. So what I'm saying is. You know how Cunningham is so important? It's obvious. Cunningham is so important to the Pistons more than the Ann Simon to the Blazers. That's obvious. Ann Simon, he's a scorer, but he's not the only guy. We have many other scorers, but Cunningham, is a superstar for that team. So that's obvious. And what I'm saying is, when we had the Ayton, the Andre Ayton, he was very important of this team. I'm not talking about the Avia, but Dayton, he was so important. He was a game changer. He was a guy we traded Damian Lillard, one of our best players, So in other words, the Ayton is obvious, but the Ayton right now is kind of nobody talk about him so much. We talk about Avia. We forgot about the Ayton because he's on the bench. So what I'm asking you, Chris, with this, DeAndre Ayton is in the bench like 50 games or half of the games on the bench. He's proven that he's been injury prone. So what do you think? Do you believe that we have to trade the guy because he's on the bench all the time? What do you think?
Well, Well, Victor, thanks for the call as always. And I don't know what they're going to do with DeAndre Ayton in the long run. I think that it makes sense for a little bit to perhaps keep him because you can slow play that growth of Donovan Clingan a little bit more, because you look at guards in this league versus centers in this league. Centers tend to be a little bit more not raw is kind of the term. Like, they take a minute to get going, right? And I think with DA on the roster, you can slow play Donovan Clingan and not feel like you have to rush him along and still get him 25 minutes a night and all that, and then eventually get out of Ayton. I think the when it comes to who you're going to trade, it's clear that you need to eventually find a way to either move off of Ant and Grant or let them understand that they're bench players now, because you got to open that door for the rest of your core. This team, I think, performs much better with Tumani and Denny playing a lot of minutes together. Not necessarily Tumani and Grant. So, yeah, you're going to need that. Absolutely. So, I don't know how injury-prone DeAndre Ayton is. I mean, this year he's taken a couple hits for sure. Feels like everybody is getting injured in the NBA nowadays. And obviously you have Robert Williams, who's injury-prone as well. But here's the thing. You also, regardless of where you go, if you want to start DC or whatnot, you need center depth. So you need those guys around in the long run. So we'll see what they do with DeAndre Ayton. I still think that there may be a future for him here. It may be somewhere else. I think one thing that does fly under the radar a little bit with the value of DeAndre Ayton is the fact that it's very, very clear that he and Scoot get along really well, and they have a very good chemistry when they do play on the court together. I like the way that he runs the pick and roll with Scoot. I like the way he's kind of takes Scoot under his wing, and again, they play very well with each other. When you look at two-man combos on this team that have good chemistry, like I said, I think and Denny is a good two-man combo that has chemistry. I think Scoot and DA is another good two-man combo. So again, we'll see where they go with it. You got an entire offseason. There's going to be moving parts. But I think that in the priority list of who you trade, I think it's Ant, Grant, and then DeAndre Ayton. Possibly, I mean, maybe you could make a case that it's Grant, Ant, and then DA. Either way, I think DA's the third of those three if you're trying to rank them. That's me, though. Some of you guys are completely different. I understand that, but that's my take on that. All right, let's go out to Sam, who's been waiting patiently. Sam, welcome into the fifth quarter. What do you got tonight?
Hey, Chris. This is Sam. Back again. I went to the game tonight. It was. I thought it was very exciting. We rallied, but we really, really were missing our big guys. I mean, a combined, I think 8 points from our big men, and honestly lacking in rebounds as well. I think the size is a very important thing, especially missing Avdia and Ayton. That was our gaping hole tonight. I'm hoping that we can get them healthy for a possible play-in, maybe, or just next season.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, Sam. Because as I mentioned earlier, and I don't know if you happen to hear it, but I'm a fan of Jalen Duren. He's a good player, plenty of upside. I didn't realize he was that big. Like, you see him in person, he's huge. He's a mountain of muscle. He moves incredibly well. And then you got Isaiah Stewart, who is, to steal one saying from Brenden, for lack of better terms, he is like the better, more refined version of Jabari Walker. Like, just a big dude who is all motor, all hustle, great shot blocker, great rebounder. And so when you get those two guys together and you're missing center depth, you're going to take a bit of a hit, man.
Yeah, I think that the one issue we have is defense. I think that our shooting is it was good for some of the game. The threes were going in, and then in the last 2-3 minutes, all we were shooting were threes, and we kept missing. I thought that, and we could hear it in the crowd, that Duop Reith, it's confidence, it's good confidence, but he is a center. I don't know if he should be shooting threes. I don't know if he should be even on the three-point line position there, especially consistently. I just think that the shot choices tonight were a little questionable. I also think that some of the calls that were made and some of the calls that were not made for both sides were big issues.
Yeah, no, for sure, Sam, and thanks for the call as always, and hopefully we'll run into each other again. You got to come find me If I'm not up at the radio spot, then you gotta come find me over there at section 113 and come say hi, my friend. But no, you're right. Here's the thing with Dwop Reith is Dwop is he's a good 3-point shooter. I think we know that. But what's also interesting is the fact if you look at his numbers, and it's like he started the season, he was doing well hitting those shots, but he's buoyed back down. Granted, he's only taken 1.7 attempts per game in his 32 games he's played, but he's fallen down to 33% shooting from beyond the arc right now, and that's not a great number by any stretch of the imagination. You need more out of him if he's going to take those shots. So you're right. The tough part with him, getting him out of the back in the paint instead of outside, is he's undersized for a center. He's not very thick. Like I said, you could tell when you put him next to a guy like Duran, and then he's only 6'9"-ish. So yeah, he's a little undersized. Plays a little more like almost like a new school power forward a little bit with the way he can space the floor. And, of course, I think if you're going to knock him for the three-point percentage going down, which I just did, I think you also have to throw in the fact that being a good three-point shooter, a lot of that is rhythm, right? You got to get in a rhythm, and it is hard to do when you're getting DMPs and you're playing the next night because he's buried in that depth chart. I do think realistically, though, that shot he had late when it was 113 to 110, the shot that could have tied the game, that was a great look. I think if you're Chauncey Billups, I think you take that shot 9 out of 10 times and you live with it. Like, it was a great pick and pop. Ant drew the second defender, got the ball through him. Dwop Reith wide open, and a guy we know can hit that shot. I'm completely okay with him taking that shot. But then the next two shots after that, you had the Tumani one and the Shea shot. They were both just felt like they were just a little rushed in the moment. Maybe almost not saying they were too big for the moment or whatever, or the moment was too big for them, but they were just a little bit rushed. But again, at the end of the day, I really don't have too much bad to say about that shot selection from Dwop Reith. One thing that is a little frustrating, though, is when you have 93 shot attempts and 50 of them are from beyond the arc. You only made 15 shots. Sometimes with a three-point shot ain't falling. You got to find ways to get some other offense going. That is a little bit frustrating. And one thing they are missing, you talked about the big men being out. One thing they are missing with DA out is, like, nobody on this offense hunts for that mid-range jumper, man. It's either drive to the basket or hit the three-pointer. DA, at least, you can run those pick and rolls, pass him the ball as he rolls in, and he stops at the free throw line and takes a jumper. Keeps the defense a little more, on their toes because they don't know. It's not a 50-50. Are you going beyond the arc or going to the rim? You could stop in between and take a shot. I would like to see maybe ways to get Ant, Shea a little more comfortable taking some of those mid-rangers. Like I said, I know they're there. I'm not saying they don't take them, but it just feels without DA, they don't take them nearly enough. And again, you pointed out, everyone else pointed out, without Denny, it absolutely makes an impact as well. All right, if you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also go over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, join the conversation there. And you can follow me and Brenden on social media at CJ Burkhardt and B_slot, respectively, where our man Larry Miller, who, Larry always has it tuned into the radio station because he's always tweeting at us. He was always tweeting at me when I filled in for Justin in the morning. He's tweeting out the fifth quarter right now. He said, Brenden, back in the chair. I said, yeah, that's right. He is back in the chair. My man Brenden is finally getting used to the night shift. I said that without verifying if you're actually used to the night shift, Brenden, but it does feel like you're getting used to not waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I mean, from your lips to God's ears, brother. It's some people are morning people, some people are night people, so I'm thankful.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick little break here on the fifth quarter. When we come back, we're going to head to the Coach's Corner, hear what Coach Billups had to say following this loss to the Pistons. We'll hand out a game ball, and then we'll get out of here. We got another game tomorrow, guys. Blazers, Warriors down at Oracle. No, it's not Oracle anymore. It's Chase Center. Get it right, Burkhardt. I did watch plenty of games at Oracle, so it is confusing there because I watched more games there than I did at Chase. The ballpark is now Oracle Park. Oracle owns the town. Oracle also helps Batman in the comics. Barbara Gordon. That's
nice
right.
Pull.
We're getting hot. Yeah, that's right. We're getting hot. DC Comic Talk, baby. That's right. Only here on the fifth quarter on your home, the Blazers. Rip City Radio, 620.
For the latest on tonight's game, we head to the Coach's Corner with Chauncey Billups.
Man, we had some great opportunities in that fourth quarter. We really did, man. I was proud of our guys for just sticking with it, continuing to make the right pass, the right play, and so many times over and over and over, we had chances to either tie it, get back, make it a one-possession game. Man, we did the right thing. We played the right way. I thought that was a goaltending call. It was a big momentum swing for us as we were kind of going, and Ant was kind of on a burner. That was a big no call, I thought, in the game, but we gave ourselves a chance. We played hard, man. Played really hard.
I heard excuses, but the 7-game trip, was that tough to get over early for you guys?
Well, it's always tough, and I don't make excuses, but I, told one of our coaches earlier, this is like a road game. You come off a 7-game trip, 2 weeks, and you turn around and got to play tomorrow on the road. I mean, we should have just played the Pistons at Oracle and then played the Warriors tomorrow at Chase. This is a long trip. Is basically what it is, to be honest with you. So it's just a terrible scheduling thing, but it is what it is. We go out there and lay it on the line every chance we can.
Johnson, you guys get up 53s and you guys struggle to get in the paint and finish. You're not somebody who really pushes back on the threes, but points to the paint. You got Isaiah Stewart was a monster defensively. How do you kind of overcome that when you do have tired legs and you are on this extended trip, and even though it's home, trying to keep your head down and get to the rim?
Yeah, I mean, you just like to, you want one of them to go, either your baskets at the rim or your threes. And, for us to get up 53s in this game, I'm not mad about that. But I am, and most of us know that Isaiah Stewart is a shot blocker. And even though he's short in stature, he's a really good shot blocker. He's very physical. And it took our guys a long time to realize that maybe a pump fake might help down there. And that's just youth and knowing your personnel and knowing who you're playing against. And it cost us today.
Obviously not the outcome you wanted, but considering the Pistons are trending toward playoff contention and you were on the Pistons the last time they won a playoff game, kind of just wanted to hear your thoughts about what that meant for the city of Detroit.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see where the Pistons are at. Obviously everybody knows my affinity and my history with the organization. Now that we're done playing them for the year, I can cheer for them, But they're doing a great job. I think JB's doing a heck of a job. Cade, an all-star this year. I know that city has been missing some playoff basketball for quite a while, and they've endured some pain there. That's a big-time basketball city. So I'm happy to see them trending forward and playing well, and I wish them the best of luck the rest of the way.
I know you guys need to take care of what you guys need to take care of, but how much are you guys kind of standing to watching right now with some of the other stuff that goes on with playing stuff? Yeah,
I just where I stand on that, Sean, is I just know that we have to play good basketball. I never look at it and think like when you need help from people, you start looking around for all the help. I don't like to need nobody, So I want us to just play well and then see what happens. But we just got to keep playing well. We keep playing as hard as we did tonight, get some of those threes to go in, get some of those finishes to go in, and we look up in 2 or 3 weeks and see where we at, So that's kind of where I'm at. There could be other people that could be different on that, be watching every day. I really don't have time to be watching that every day.
There you hear Coach Billups, and He's going to root for the Pistons now. He has an affinity for him. That makes sense. But joking aside, I like that question there by Heiken asking, about watching the standings. And Coach Bill's just saying, I don't have time for that. I don't want help from the other teams. I want us to earn it, basically, is what he said. And yeah, that makes sense. It absolutely makes sense in the long run. I like that focus. We'll see where it goes because realistically, there's still a chance. The math checks out. Still a long chance, but it's a chance. All right, we want to get out of here, though, so I think it's time now, Brenden, to hand out a game ball.
Who is the MVP tonight for the Trailblazers? It's time for Game Balls on Fifth Quarter.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest.
All right, game ball tonight. I'm sorry. I'm not even looking at the box score. I don't care that Ant scored 34. I don't care that Jeremy Grant scored 25. I mean, the game ball can only go to one person tonight, and I think that's clear, right? That it has to go to a guy who brought a trophy to Portland in 1977, a guy who, averaged 17 points per game in his time in PDX, a guy who's one of the best players to ever do it. On a night that we honored Bill Walton here in the city of Portland, I'm giving my game ball to Bill Walton. You know what? He deserves it. He deserves it. It was cool to get some good clips they were playing in the arena tonight. To honor him. He had his family members were here. His grandkids were here. They had members of the 77 championship team were here to honor him. And, Bill Walton was great. Like I said, it's all about what era you grew up in. You might say Bill's the greatest Blazer. You might say Clyde's the greatest Blazer. You might say Dame is the greatest Blazer, and they all have a claim. They all have an argument, but only one of them can say that he brought a trophy to Portland and got a parade down Broadway. And that's Bill Walton. Rest in peace to the big guy, a Blazer legend, and a guy who will never, ever be forgotten here in Rip City. All right, that's going to do it for the fifth quarter tonight. We will be back at it tomorrow, though. Blazers, they like these weird back-to-backs, and apparently they really like riding in airplanes because they're heading down to San Francisco. I was in Oregon's Bay Area today. Coos Bay. They're heading down to the real Bay Area, San Francisco, to take on the Golden State Warriors. Tip off at 7 o'clock, which means I will have game day for you at 5 p.m. And then, of course, Travis Demers will take over at 7. Blazers, Warriors, all here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Once again, final score from Moda Center. Detroit Pistons, 119. Your Portland Trail Blazers, 112. Rip City, you have been awesome. I'll be with you again tomorrow. Rest easy. Have a good night, man. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But I'm here because I love you guys. I know we all love Rip City. So let's do it again tomorrow, shall we? I think we shall. Rip City, I'll talk to you tomorrow.